Imagine a typical awkward blind date. Now, replace the small talk with a legally binding corporate contract. We're talking about a world of stolen identities, non-disclosure agreements, and a mandated schedule for romance. On paper, this is a collection of the most over-the-top tropes in television. Yet, Business Proposal reached the top of Netflix's global charts in over 50 countries, holding its position for weeks as viewers across different cultures became obsessed with its formula. This success points to a specific challenge in romantic storytelling. In life, we build emotional walls to protect ourselves from the vulnerability of dating. For a story to feel realistic, those walls usually take a long time to dismantle, often longer than a television season allows. To keep an audience engaged, writers utilize a storytelling shortcut. They need a way to bypass those natural human defenses and force characters into an intimate space where a connection can develop rapidly without feeling forced or unearned. This shortcut is the narrative vacuum. It is a high-stakes scenario that places two characters in inescapable proximity, removing their ability to retreat behind their usual social barriers. But simply putting two people in a room isn't enough. The real question is how you create intimacy that feels authentic when the characters know their relationship is a fabrication. The fake dating trope is less a cliché and more a calibrated psychological engine. It provides the characters with a series of logical excuses to perform the very behaviors that lead to genuine emotional vulnerability. The engine starts the moment the ink hits the page. In Business Proposal, the relationship is initially treated as a clinical business arrangement, complete with a list of non-negotiable terms and conditions. This contract sets strict boundaries. It defines exactly when they meet, what they disclose to others, and how they should behave. Paradoxically, these rigid rules provide the characters with something rare in the dating world, a sense of total predictability. This leads to a state of rejection immunity. In a standard romantic pursuit, the fear of being unwanted causes people to hide their flaws. Because these characters have already agreed the relationship is a lie, they no longer feel the need to impress each other to avoid being rejected. This lack of pressure allows their defensive public personas to drop. They argue, show their eccentricities, and act like themselves much faster than they would on a genuine first date, where they'd be on their best behavior. The artificial nature of the contract creates a protected space. By removing the high stakes of real romance, it gives the characters the safety they need to show who they actually are. While the contract handles their private interactions, the public performance introduces a different kind of pressure. To maintain the lie for their families and colleagues, they have to simulate the physical and verbal language of a couple in love. This means they are required to hold hands, share personal secrets to maintain their cover, and publicly support one another during social conflicts. They are essentially practicing the habits of a healthy relationship. This reflects the concept of embodied cognition. Research in psychology suggests that our brains often take cues from our physical actions to determine our emotional state. When we perform the physical cues of an emotion, we can trigger the feeling itself. By repeatedly acting out the behaviors of a devoted partner, the characters begin to experience the physiological symptoms of attachment. The brain's reward systems react to the proximity and the shared secrets of the performance, making the boundary between the act and the feeling increasingly porous. When we repeat these intimate behaviors over a long period, the brain often struggles to maintain a strict distinction between a calculated performance and a genuine emotional state. For the characters, the fake care becomes indistinguishable from the real thing. Eventually, the business logic fails. We see this when a character offers a gesture of comfort that wasn't in the script, or when a stoic exterior breaks through for a moment of unforced warmth. The rehearsed backstories they learned about each other become a foundation for real understanding. The fake data points, like a partner's favorite food or a specific fear, turn into the tools they use to provide genuine mutual support. The emotional walls established at the start have been bypassed. The characters find themselves in a position where they are no longer reciting lines, but responding to each other with actual sincerity. The performance collapses because the level of attention required to fake a relationship is nearly identical to the attention required to sustain a real one. The act of truly seeing someone else is the primary requirement for falling in love. Business Proposal succeeds because it uses its absurd premise to explore how we navigate the fear of being known. While the plot focuses on fooling the characters' families, the structural intent of the fake date is directed inward. It is a mechanism designed to help the characters lower their own guards. The contract provides a professional excuse for them to experience the vulnerability they were too afraid to seek out in their normal lives. This resonates because it mirrors a common human experience, the exhaustion of maintaining a public persona and the relief of having it stripped away. We see ourselves in that desire to be accepted for who we are once the mask is removed. Sometimes we need a high-stakes excuse to let someone see us without our defenses. If you found this breakdown of storytelling mechanics interesting, subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology behind the stories you love.